power is out, the hospitals are closed, it's time to take care of all of your family's medical and hygiene needs with whatever supplies you have on hand. Are you ready? Are you feeling confident? On this episode of the Barricade Guard Show, I'll walk you through some of the most important things to consider, give you tips and tricks for navigating grid-down first aid supplies, and provide links to the items you need to get started. When we lose power for a few hours or a few days, most of us can get by with the clothes, toiletries, and medical supplies that we have in the house. We still have at least some clean clothes in the dresser, we have Advil and Band-Aids for headaches and small cuts, and we can always add some water to the toilet tank to get one more flush to hold us over. Hotels and hospitals are still open, so we have backup options if we really need them. But like we've been talking about in this series, let's imagine an emergency scenario where there's no power for anyone, hotels and hospitals included, for weeks or longer. You still need to wash your clothes and go to the bathroom, and if you get seriously injured while trying to accomplish your new tasks and responsibilities, it's up to you and your family to treat your own wounds. If you happen to have someone with medical or military experience in your household, you're probably better off than most. But I'd be willing to bet that the majority of households aren't equipped to treat much more than headaches, bruises, and small shallow cuts. Medical needs. In a prolonged grid down event, you're going to be doing lots of tasks that you're probably not currently doing on a regular basis. You might be making home repairs with manual tools and cutting your downspouts to collect water. Maybe you'll be spending time in the woods, cutting firewood, and starting fires for cooking or heating. All of these tasks increase your risk of injury, especially if you are out of practice or figuring them out for the first time. So when I was deciding what medical supplies to stock, I wanted to be as prepared as I reasonably could be, while at the same time, not spending money on supplies that nobody in my household would be able to use correctly. Neither my wife or I work in the medical profession, so we wanted to be realistic about what types of treatment options we could make use of. To start with, we wanted to keep our supplies organized and easy to access. And the most cost-effective way to do this, at least that we could find, is with a tackle box. Specifically, we liked the Plano 7771 because of its size and the variety of options it gives you to organize both large and small supplies. Our goal was to keep the items that we would need for critical injuries in the most easily accessible areas. So this would be things like Israeli compression bandages, tourniquets and chest seals from North American Rescue, various types of gauze, iodine, alcohol prep pads, compression bandage wraps, and bandage shears. I also debated whether or not to include kits for things like stitching and stapling, but those medical grade supplies are expensive, and I wasn't confident in our abilities to be able to use them correctly, especially in high stress situations. So I settled on butterfly bandages and zip sutures, which are much less expensive and have a lot lower learning curve. I also stocked in our kit antibiotics and antiseptics, calamine lotion and burn dressings, medical gloves, first aid tape, safety pins, ABD pads, and basic slings and finger splints. Thankfully, nobody in my household is on any prescription medication, but we did include Advil, aspirin, laxatives, and antidiarrheal tablets, so we could at least address those basic needs if we had to. Okay, so now you have all these supplies, but do you know how to use them? Under normal circumstances, I'd probably do what most of you would do. Watch a YouTube video. But what if you don't have internet access or power? You better have a backup plan. And I would strongly recommend that at least part of that plan includes hard copy printed manuals. Acquire them or print them now while you can, and keep them with your emergency supplies. When the time comes, these will be a priceless resource. Check out the show notes below for a link to some free books and health materials that you can print, as well as links to the Plano 7771 tackle box and the individual medical supplies that I've mentioned. Another thing to consider is anything that your family needs to address chronic medical conditions. If someone in your household depends on prescription or refrigerated medications or medical equipment like a CPAP machine, you'll need to formulate a backup plan. And for some conditions that can't be healed, that backup plan might be a necessity. But for lifestyle-related chronic conditions, I would strongly recommend taking steps now to improve your health and reduce your reliance on pharmaceuticals and electrical devices. If we ever do face a real grid down event, your chances of survival will be much greater if you're not dealing with chronic health conditions. For more on this topic, check out my videos on nutrition and physical health that I'll link to below. Hygiene considerations. When it comes to prepping, some aspects are definitely more exciting to plan for than others. Stocking up on and trying out your new collection of flashlights, knives, and fire starters might actually be fun. On the other hand, figuring out how to keep yourself clean and go to the bathroom might not get you pumped up and ready to prep. But taking care of your basic hygiene needs is extremely important. For 3 to 6 months, or maybe even a little bit longer, some of these things are easy to address. Just get in the habit of keeping larger stockpiles on hand of things like soap, deodorant, toothpaste, dental floss, toilet paper, paper towels, dish soap, laundry detergent, bleach, and garbage bags. Use a first in, first out approach to cycle through these supplies, and you'll always have plenty on hand, at least for several months. But when you're ready to level up your skills, start learning how to make your own soap, deodorant, and laundry detergent. We've been making our own laundry detergent and deodorant for years now. It works just as well and is healthier than the store-bought options. And when it comes time to wash your clothes without electricity, there's an inexpensive hack for that as well. Just pick up some 5-gallon buckets and lids and some plungers. You want to drill some holes in the plunger head since you want to agitate but not suction your clothes. And you'll want to drill a hole in the center of the bucket lid that is big enough to allow the plunger to move up and down freely, but not too much bigger to avoid too much water splashing out. Insert the handle through the hole, attach the lid to the bucket, and you have yourself a 5-gallon washing machine with a manual agitator. 5-gallon buckets are also the quick and easy solution for emergency toilets. Just use a trash bag as a liner and attach portable bucket toilet seats, which I'll link to below. You might also consider using separate buckets for liquid and solid waste, so that the liquid waste can be dumped out more quickly and easily. Depending on where you live, you might have to get creative with where you empty your buckets, but at least I've taken care of the first half of the problem for you. Oh, and make sure your toilet bucket isn't the same one you're using to wash your clothes. When it comes to your medical and hygiene needs, there is a wide range of options to consider, and depending on your skill set and finances, you might decide to go with solutions that are more or less elaborate than what I've suggested. At the end of the day, it comes down to what your needs are, what problems you are trying to solve for, and what you'll realistically be able to put into action if the time comes where your preps are needed. Just take some time to think through the things you'll need to accomplish, and then work through what you'll need to carry out that plan. Do you have other medical or hygiene tips? What do you think about my suggestions? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from it as well. It really does help out me and the channel. Don't forget to follow the Barricade Guard on Facebook, X, and Instagram. The links are in the show notes below. And until next time, fortify your soul, body, and family.